Hello there everyone, how are you doing today? Before we get started, I would like to thank you all for 500 subscribers on YouTube. I really appreciate it. Soon, after the almighty YouTube person registers it, I will have the community tab. And as a reward, I will get you that lore video very soon. But for now, we will be reading a story called Beautiful Monster by 2_42 reads on YouTube. They're an amazing narrator. Please check them out. Now, without further ado, let's get started.
Julius Productions. Sit down, get comfy, and await your horror.
The day I met her was nothing special, or so it started that way. I had gone over to a friend's house for a little get-together. It was just a few friends to hang out and talk. Since I had locked myself in the house for the last few weeks, it was nice to get out for a little bit. Amber had broken my heart, and I just needed to get over her. Then she walked into the room. Her name was Vivian, and she looked how I always imagined the goddess Aphrodite to. She had on a tight red dress that looked like it was made only for her, hugging each curve in just the right way. Her light brown hair framing her face to show off her bright gray eyes. They held an intense look to them. She had legs that didn't seem to have an end to them. I knew the moment her eyes locked on me, I would ask her out. After a bit of time, I walked up to this beauty, Vivian. It took me a little time to get into the groove of talking to her, but soon she was smiling and laughing. Her voice and laugh were music to my ears. How was someone like this even able to be real? I asked myself. It took me a little time, but I asked her out to dinner and she said yes. I took her to my favorite restaurant. It might look like a hole in the wall, and at first she didn't seem to be sure. Once she tasted the food, however, she understood why I picked this place. The food was always so good, and though it looked run down, it was well taken care of. We talked, and I learned she was a lawyer. A goddess like her could make anyone agree with her, I thought. We headed to a park after dinner to talk. I put my hand on her hip and she didn't stop me. A soft smile was on her face as she looked at me. "Kiss me," she commanded, and I did as she told me. The kiss was as nothing before. It was like fireworks going on in my head. I felt nothing like this before. After what felt like a lifetime, she pulled her lips from mine, telling me it was time to head home. I shook my head but nodded. A few weeks passed by. I had gone to her home a few times, but we had only made out. I was growing more impatient each day. How could she keep pushing me away? How could she not desire me as much as I did her? So I decided one night I finally would just sneak her into her house and show her how much I needed her. Last time I was over, I had unlocked a window in the basement that I used to get in. She had said she never really went down there. It was dark down here, but it was enough so I could see. I stopped dead when I heard footsteps above me. But it wasn't soft ones, it was heavier. Was she cheating on me? Was she with other men before me? I felt my vision go red as I walked into a bookcase. A book fell off and hit the ground. "Shit," I said quietly as I went to pick it up. Upstairs, no one seemed to move towards the door that led downstairs. I let out a breath and moved to the book to pick it up. I had to stay calm if I was going to show her. The book has opened and spilled its contents. Photos had fallen out, all over the ground. They were all of different men, their throats slashed. And handing over the bed, she stood there, smiling her beautiful smile, with blood all over her face. I put the photos away into the book and looked at it. I knew what I needed to do. I headed upstairs, book in my hand. I headed to her bedroom, a man naked, and tied to her bed. She had left the door open, not expecting me. I pulled out my own knife. I need to do something. Vivian hadn't noticed me at all. She was bent over grabbing something. Probably the bowl for this man's blood. He was blindfolded, so he couldn't see anything. "Vivian," I said with strength I didn't know I had. She looked up at me with those eyes. I held out the book. "I know what you're about to do." "You do you?" she said, pulling a bowl up. Her voice soft. "Planning to stop me then?" I moved closer to the man who was now pulling on his restraints. I moved my knife closer to him. "No, Vivian. I desire to help you." And with that, I slit his throat. She moved the bowl under the cut to collect his blood. I looked at her and smiled. I saw her smile, a true warm smile, as the blood drained from our sacrifice. I had found another demigod who understood blood kept us looking young and beautiful forever. Amber hadn't tasted as good as this man did. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, it helps the channel a lot. See you next time.